Long, long ago, in the Kingdom of Armpit, a small realm north of the Dominion of Elbow, there lived a young prince named Harry. Prince Harry was an only child, and his nurses and tutors said that was a mercy, for privately they called him the Royal Pain. Harry, you see, was a naughty prince. He made bubbles in his bath. He loosened the tops on all the royal pepper shakers. He teased the moat monster by throwing pebbles at it and making the moat monster think it was somebody else. Harry's father, King Reginald the Not Very Realistic, believed this was all just a phase. He hoped that someday the prince would grow up to be a brave and worthy knight.
"Roaming the land on horseback,"
the king suggested.
"Smiting giants, rescuing damsels in distress. Now that's the life, eh, son?"
"Give me a break, Dad," groaned Harry, who was much too young to be interested in damsels. "That knighthood stuff is so medieval." The only thing Prince Harry showed any interest in was his practical jokes and magic. He'd always been fascinated by magic. He'd even learned a few tricks himself by studying the acts of second-rate traveling magicians who passed through the castle. Not real magic, of course, which only witches and wizards knew. Just sleight-of-hand stuff, pulling rabbits out of hats, sawing people in half, which took a bit of practice, a little ventriloquism. But King Reginald was not the sort of king to give up easily. He got Harry a position as squire to a castle knight named Sir Bedwetter. A knight squire is kind of a helper or flunky, like a caddy in golf. Unfortunately, Harry was not very helpful. At tournaments, he would loosen the bolts on Sir Bedwetter's armor so his iron leggings fell down during sword fights, or put grease on Sir Bedwetter's saddle, or file down his jousting lance so it was a foot shorter than his opponent's. Finally, Sir Bedwetter could stand it no more and went to the king to complain. He stormed into the king's throne room, barging past the royal attendants, who said the king was busy with affairs of state and not to be disturbed. But when King Reginald heard what Harry had been up to, he put down his royal crossword and summoned the prince at once for an explanation.
"Well, young man,"
the king demanded,
"what have you got to say for yourself?"
"Oops," Harry shrugged. "That does it," steamed Sir Bedwetter. "He has disgraced the proud name of Bedwetter for the last time. I quit."
"Please, Sir Bedwetter,"
the king begged,
"give the boy another chance."
King Reginald was desperate. There were only so many knights in the castle, and most of them had already tried being Harry's tutor and resigned under similar circumstances. But just then they were interrupted by a loud horn blast. The royal crier bounded into the courtyard, blowing into a long, thin trumpet for all he was worth.
"Hark, hark!"
the royal crier shouted. He blew into his trumpet again.
"Yoo-hoo! Hark, people!" We're harking,"
said the king.
"What news have you?"
"A famous knight has come to the castle. They say he is the bravest and most famous knight in all of Armpit, though personally I've never heard of him until a few minutes ago."
"You don't say,"
said the king. Already there was a gleam of an idea in his eye.
"Tell us, who is this worthy knight?"
"They call him," the royal crier said, then paused to draw out the suspense. The king was on the edge of his royal seat. You could have knocked him over with a ton of bricks. The royal crier went on. The king frowned.
"Well?"
he growled.
"Out with it! What is this knight's name?"
"They call him Sir Fartsalot." King Reginald ordered a feast in Sir Fartsalot's honor, and when word got around, all the castle's usual work was packed in for the day. The cobbler and cooper left off cobbling and coopering. The blacksmith laid aside the umbrella he was forging, and everyone went home to get ready for that night's banquet.